and welcome once again to Let's Start Cooking. I'm Wayne, and today we're going to make an easy recipe. It's Tuscan baked chicken. It's easy, it's simple ingredients. It takes about 25 minutes. And as usual, all the ingredients will be in the description. So all we're going to do is we're going to start with chicken breast. This recipe calls for 4 chicken breasts. I'm using, as you can see, they're pretty big chicken breasts, so I'm going to double the recipe. But the recipe I'm going to put is going to be for 4. But I'm going to double it up. So all we're going to do is take a roasting dish, and we're just going to lay the chicken breast in it lengthwise. Now, if your chicken breasts, when you get them, if they're really thick, you're going to want to take them and lay them underneath a piece of plastic wrap, and you're going to want to flatten these out a little bit. You want these all to be about the same thickness. And we're just going to lay them in. Let's see if we can make a little room here. Going to get these all in the best we can, because like I said, these are nice sized chicken breasts. And once we have that, what we want to do is we're going to take them and we're just going to drizzle a little bit of oil on them. And I'm using canola oil, if I can get it to come out without making a mess. And all we're really doing this for is we're going to add some nice herbs to this, and we want them to stick. Just going to rub it a little bit with oil. And we have our salt and pepper. We have paprika. And we have Italian seasoning. Now, a lot of people ask, well, what's Italian seasoning? Basically, it's all the herbs that you would normally use, your basil, your oregano. You just put it all together, and it's a lot easier. You just go to the store and get Italian seasoning. And we're just going to take some of that, and we're going to mix that up. Just so we get it mixed up, we don't want all big clumps. And all we're going to do is you're going to take this, and we're just going to sprinkle it right over our chicken. Just like I said, this is a fairly fast recipe. Just going to make sure we get those. And you don't have to coat all of it. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get every little piece of this coated, but you want to use all of this. I'm going to get this all done. And what's nice about this is you can do all this in one dish. We don't have to cook anything in a pot or a pan and then transfer it. We're just going to put everything all in one thing and get everything done. Now once we get this done, we're going to set this to the side. We're going to prepare our sauce. So we're just going to set this to the side, and this is the time you're going to want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees, because this isn't going to take long now once we get this started. Now we're going to work on the sauce, and the sauce is real simple. We're going to use 1 cup of heavy cream, and again, I did double up the sauce because I'm making a double batch. We have salt and pepper. We have minced garlic, and depending on how much garlic you actually like or don't like, you can use less or more. And we have cornstarch. And cornstarch is going to act as a thickening agent, so our sauce gets nice and thick. Now we're going to want to mix this up real quick before we add our other stuff. Just so we get it mixed up a little bit. Like again, we don't want big clumps. We want this to all be nice and mixed. And once we get that, now what we're going to do is we're going to add shredded Parmesan cheese. We're going to add that right in. And then we're going to add sun-dried tomatoes. Now, if you can't get sun-dried tomatoes, sometimes they're hard to find. You can use cherry tomatoes, cut them out in half or even in quarters. Or you could even use roasted red pepper, if you even prefer that, instead of sun-dried tomatoes. And we took our sun-dried tomatoes and we just chopped them up a little bit, and we're just going to add them right on in. And we're just going to give this a good mix. We just want to make sure we get everything nice and mixed up. Again, as you can see, it didn't take long. It took us maybe 5 minutes to get everything ready. And we're just going to mix this up, and we're going to bring our chicken back over. Now, we don't want to pour this onto the chicken. We want to pour it around it. If you do get some on it, that's fine. You just don't want to wash everything you just put on. And we're just going to gently pour it on the side. And then let that go in, around. And again, we're going to have this come up about halfway. We just don't want to completely cover the chicken because it will wash a lot of that off on us. But we do want to make sure that we get everything covered. And once you get it this far, what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the oven and we're going to bake this for about 16 to 20 minutes depending on the thickness of the chicken and depending on your oven. But we want to make sure the internal temperature of this reaches 165 degrees. So we'll get this in the oven and we'll be back in about 16 to 20 minutes. We've had this in the oven for about 25 minutes. We made sure we checked the internal temperature. It was about 162 degrees. And we're going to let it go because we're going to cover this. We're going to let this rest. And the temperature is going to rise before it actually starts to cool down. So as you can see, everything's nice and brown, nice bubbly. And what we're going to do now is, this is optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. We're going to add a little bit of fresh spinach that we chopped up. And we're just going to put it around because what we're going to do is we're going to end up mixing this up a little bit. And again, this is optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. We're just going to put it in and we're going to end up mixing this just a little bit. We're just going to take this and we're just going to mix this up just a little. And you can see how thick and creamy it got. And that's due to that corn starch that we put in here. And we're just going to mix this up just a little bit. And again, as you can see, this is a very easy recipe. It didn't take much. It was all made in one dish. It's not that hard. You can make this at your leisure. You can make this and put it in the refrigerator till you're ready to put it in the oven. This is something that you can put in the oven and you don't have to, you set the time and you don't have to worry about it. So what we're gonna do now is, we're just gonna take this and we're gonna cover this with foil. And we're gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes. And that's all we're gonna do. And we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, we've had this resting for about 10 minutes, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the foil. And the smell immediately hits you right in the face. You can smell all the herbs. You can smell the tomato. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take this. For us, we're gonna put it on a bed of pasta. And we're just gonna take this off. We're gonna gently pick one of these up. And we're just gonna lay it right on top. And then what we want to do is we're going to take a spoon and we're going to mix some of this up. And again, if you're going to serve this to more than one person, and you want to do it at the same time, I would suggest you put all the chicken, plate it first, and then we can mix all this together. And you can actually pour this. I like to put it on the noodles, and then we just put it a little bit over top. Move this out of the way real quick. And you can always add more or less, whatever you decide to do. We're just going to take a little bit off the end because I know this is going to be very hot. So, see if we can get a little bit of pasta here. You can smell the paprika, you can smell all the spices. The Parmesan cheese comes through. Again, the sun-dried tomato. It's a very easy dish. It took maybe 25 minutes to do it. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it. I thank you for watching the video. Like, subscribe, share us with your friends, and leave us a comment. Say hi, give us a suggestion if you have one of a recipe you'd like us to try, and we will see you next Sunday.